Hello everyone. So let us try to solve a problem today, and the problem is actually very simple. Everyone talks about it. I have made several videos on this particular topic, and the problem is that let us say you have an epic, and within that epic you have multiple stories or multiple items. It could be a task or a bug. Now, in Jira, each and every issue type, each and every issue will have its own workflow with a status. Now, if you look at, let us say, this epic right now, we have one epic called my epic. Yes, a very nice name. And the epic status is to do, but the stories under it, they are all done or they are resolved, right? Or basically, no further work is required. Now, this is fine, right? Because usually when you're doing it from the board view within your Jira software Scrum board, you will get a prompt that you want to also close the no. Will you get a prompt? It happens for a subtask. But anyways, so when you're working on your epic, you want to make sure that, or you want to at least find a better way to understand, because right now, of course, we are looking at one epic, right? But maybe you're responsible for 20 epics, and you can't really go to each and every epic. I mean, you can, but it is of course not really ideal, because if you're doing some kind of a status update call, maybe your daily Scrum call, you just want to know, okay, these are my 10 epics or 100 epics. Some of them are done, some of them are not done. What exactly is happening, right? So you also need to know a bit more information. Now let me show you a few things about this. So one simple thing that you can do always, the most simple thing is that you make sure that you do it yourself manually without first review it. So maybe there's a process that, before you can mark the epic as done, you also want to make sure that you need some checks that you might need to do. But a simple automated way would be to create one automation rule where you can define a rule like this, that whenever, of course, add some checks in the beginning. Let us say you are marking a story as done. So you can trigger this rule to run on transition. And then you can go to the parent for that particular story's parent. Then if that epic is not already marked as done, then look for all the stories under that epic, including this one, which we just resolved. Then if all of those stories are done, then mark your parent as done as well. So basically not mark, but transition your parent. So this rule might work for simple cases, but, and by the way, I made a video on this topic in case you want to learn how to do it. This is a rule, right? Nothing complicated, simple rule. The only thing that you have to worry about is that if you're trying to automatically close your epic or transition your epic, then there shouldn't be any condition blocking it. For example, right now, if I try to transition my epic as done, and if I try to do it here straight away, it will give me a prompt that no, resolution is not filled in. So you need to fill it in, right? So yeah, of course. And yeah, one more field, transition, time spent, so 2 hours. So if you have any validations, then the automation rule will probably give you, it will not work, right? So this is fine, it works great. Now, one good example to monitor this is by looking at a report like this from your eazyBI. And for example, let us look at this particular epic. Now the epic status is 50%. It means that out of 2 issues under it, you can of course take a look at it, by the way. Out of 2 issues under it, or maybe including this one, I guess. Are we talking about this one as well? So for this particular issue, we have one of the issue marked as done, and the other one is not marked as done, right? So this will of course tell you the breakup, and at the same time you can calculate the percentage, which is fine. But if you have all the items marked as done, then your parent should be marked as done, right? Or you can at least, let us say the progress is 100% here. So if you just look at the epic and focus on the ones with 100% progress, right? So something like, I'm trying to find one with, okay, so this is a good example. We have 100% progress. If you look at the stories under it or the tasks under it, so we have, I believe, so we have, I guess, some items that are done, some of them are not done. And if it is done, if it is 100%, then maybe you need to mark it as done. So basically, this kind of a view will, in a way, help you, assist you, and you can build this view to only focus on epics and stories under it, or something similar. And this is definitely very useful, I guess, because if you're looking at something which is, let us say, done. So, for example, this particular epic, it says done, and the progress is 100%. So you can also do like the other way around, right? So it is, of course, not really correct. So it is building some kind of anomaly report where you are looking at all the items. So 1, 2, 3, and 10. So I guess we have a lot of subtasks as well under this under this issue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I think the 10th one is the story itself. So this is, of course, telling us that there are a lot of items that are still not done. So just build a report like this, and maybe open this report in your daily call and just do it. And I actually prefer this because automation will cover one use case and a simple use case, but in reality that never really happens, or it happens rarely, right? Because there are a lot of complexities when it comes to managing your agile based projects, or if you're trying to follow agile, or maybe some form of agile. And although I prefer keeping things simple, but if you don't want to rely on the automation, but if you want to rely on this report, like a snapshot of, or a bird eye view of what is happening, then by simply looking at 2 columns, if it is done, then the progress should be 100%, right? Or if the progress is 100%, then it should be done, something like that. And you can, of course, always drill down. So this is something that I thought I'll probably share with all of you today, because as a manager, you should make sure that there is no anomaly in your data, and when people are reporting on things based on data in Jira, then these things will come out, and it is, of course, not really reflecting the reality. And to be honest, this is not really for the Jira administrators. This is basically for you managers to manage, and because your responsibility is to make sure that things are or things in Jira are reflecting the reality. And if you're not really updating your Jira issues, then that is not really it's a very silly excuse to make, to be honest. And of course, I always say to my clients that you should trust your Jira data. If Jira is telling you that the epic is done, then it is done. That is it. So if you're marking your epic is done, then it is your responsibility as a manager that it should indeed be done. There shouldn't be any stories under it that are still open, right? Of course, you can build automation rules, and I work with people. I mean, I don't really want to say unfortunately or fortunately, because that is how human beings are behaving, anyways. Where they try to not take the ownership. They keep on blaming the tool. If you are the owner of the epic, then it is your epic, and people should trust the data in Jira. If it is not done, then you're telling everyone that it is not done. If it is done, that you're telling everyone that it is done. So don't say that tool is not working for you. Tool is just a way to assist you and help you, but you have to make sure that you are using the tool if you want to reflect the reality. And these reports in Jira and these different ways that I mentioned, of course, if you're just looking at one epic, then of course things are straight away easy. But I know sometimes you are maybe managing multiple items in your backlog, and you may have multiple epics to worry about. So in those cases, of course, these reports or maybe automation tools can help you to do your job. And that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about today in this video. And one thing that I wanted to share with all of you and just want to talk about is I don't know how to say it nicely, or how to say it without being rude. If you are working with a consultant, right? Like an Atlassian consultant or a Jira consultant, or maybe if you're purchasing an app, always try to look at that person's experience using that app or doing similar work. For example, if you are working with a vendor, let us say a vendor, right? People who develop apps, right? Uh, they normally they sell apps, right? So let us say you purchase, let us talk about any app. I don't really want to name one specific app. If you're, let us say purchasing an app, that company, that vendor will probably help you, assist you. They have usually a lot of videos. I mean, I'm saying usually, but not always. But they might not always work with you. They will sell you the app, and then it is up to you. And then you have to rely on your own internal competency, or maybe hire a consultant to basically make that thing work for you. And that is why I say that if you're new to Jira, then learning these simple things will always help you. And that is my channel is all about. I mean, I'm doing these things for free, of course. I'm sharing my experience, uh, my knowledge, my skills, because I like doing it, number one, and I always learn new things. I also discover new things, and uh, I feel like because I have built my career around Atlassian tools, not because I use I, I I provide services. Not only I provide services to other organizations or other clients, but I also work. Uh, I do my work using Jira. If I'm working for a client, if I'm part of a delivery team, and I'm involved in the project delivery, so I know how to get the most out of these tools, and that of course involves knowledge of Jira. That involves, of course, working with not only developers or maybe scrum masters, but also product owners, but also stakeholders, people who are absolutely not concerned about these reports. They just need to know, okay, where exactly we are uh, overall. What is the overall progress? So right now the overall progress is 8% based on everything in my portfolio or in my program view. I work with CTOs. I also work with CEOs. So I have to basically adapt myself, and I have to basically change my language. I mean, not really English or language that we speak. I'm talking about Jira language, or the terms that I use. For example, if you're talking to a stakeholder, they or PMO, they have absolutely no idea. I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but they absolutely have no idea about issue type in Jira. If you tell them, okay, the story is not done or done, they will tell you, okay, I don't really care about the story. I don't really care about who is doing it. I just need to know we are supposed to deliver this epic or this feature by July end. Can we deliver it? Yes or no? That is it. If not, then okay, we'll do something. If yes, we can deliver it, then great. Okay, let us do something else. So you should be able to handle these cases, or a consultant who is working with you. And these tools, various apps, will get you to one level of using the tools. But when it comes to actually using the tools to deliver, to solve a problem, that gap you have to fill with knowledge of using uh, these tools, along with your practices, the the way you work within your organization, the processes that you follow. For example, if you're working with, let us say you have, or you think you have an agile team, and you have been following, epics and stories and tasks, but are you really following sprint? For example, people always say, okay, we want to create a sprint plan, right? We want to do this in our project, or that particular thing. We want to create like a dependency map or whatever. But to be honest, if you talk about sprint, like if you're trying to follow sprint, you just need to focus on your your iterations that you're doing. Of course, that should contribute towards the overall progress. For example, if you're able to break down, of course, I'm probably giving you a simple example. In most cases, it is not always simple, but if you're trying to follow agile by book, or if you're trying to follow agile by following all the best practices, then you have to ensure that you are uh, trying to basically ensure that sprints are sprints are started on time, sprints are ended on time, if you're able to make sure that you're not always adding more items to your sprint, if you can make sure that you always do your sprint planning, you always do some kind of sprint retrospective so that you can improve your next sprint. So in most cases, if you're trying to follow Agile, you just need to use Jira in its purest form, right? And that is all you need to do. And these things that I'm talking about, like the simple example that I mentioned today, epics and stories under it. Of course, there are ways to figure out, but eventually you have to make sure that you do things on a regular basis over the period of time. And that is why, of course, I personally think the idea of daily status checks, stand-up calls is wonderful because it will keep you up to date. And that is, I think, that is also a very good opportunity to ensure that Jira is up to date. For example, make sure that, let us say you're managing a team of 4 people, right? Or 5 people. Make sure that when you come to the stand-up call, either they update the status before the call or they do it during the call. So just open your Agile board and move the stories based on the actual progress. And I believe I also made one report where I showed you how to show the time tracking. So also take a look at something like this. For example, if you're working on multiple projects, let us say you're responsible for a couple of projects. So just take a look at your time log, if you're talking about time log, or maybe look at the burn down. Yes, I need to show you how to create a burn down. I'll do that, I promise. But just take a look at the time log maybe once a day, and it will give you, okay, that yes, my team is logging their effort. This could be a burn down chart because it's more about what is happening over the period of time. That is it. All right, I think I've been talking for too long now. I'll stop, and I hope this video was useful and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.